Do you know why the glutes are one of the most important muscle groups in the body? Well, not only are the glutes the largest and strongest muscle group in your body, but they're also the most functional. Without the glutes, especially the gluteus maximus muscle, you wouldn't be able to walk or run, let alone even keep your body upright. While you clearly don't have to worry about completely losing your glutes and being unable to walk, neglecting your glutes could absolutely lead to terrible back, hip, and knee pains that could affect your posture and ability to comfortably just move around. With this in mind, let's learn the best ways to grow and strengthen the gluteal muscles so you never have to worry about any of these problems happening to you. All right, let's start with the anatomy and function of the glutes. The term glutes refers to three separate muscles: gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, and your gluteus minimus. The gluteus maximus is by far the most important of these three muscles, as it's the largest and strongest, as well as the one closest to the surface. In other words, this is generally the muscle you're trying to target when you're training your glutes. The other two glute muscles are located slightly above the gluteus maximus, although both are less than half its size, with the gluteus medius being slightly larger than the gluteus minimus. The gluteus maximus's primary function is to extend the hips. Hip extension occurs when locking out a deadlift, standing up out of a squat, and locking the hips out in a hip thrust exercise. Meanwhile, the gluteus medius and minimus both perform the function of hip abduction, which is essentially just moving the legs out and away from the body. Although this isn't necessarily relevant to how we're going to train them, it is important to point out that the gluteus medius and minimus are basically the only reason you're able to stand on one leg without immediately falling over, as well as the reason why you're able to walk without your pelvis immediately shifting down toward one side of your body. Now that we understand what each of the gluteal muscles do, we now know how to target each one in our training. As we covered earlier, training the gluteus maximus is best done through hip extension exercises. This will include exercises such as the deadlift, trap bar deadlift, Romanian deadlift, barbell hip thrust, your squat, and glute kickbacks. Quite frankly, all of these exercises will get you fantastic results. However, if your goal is to maximize your gluteus maximus growth, you'll want to make sure that you include an exercise that works them the hardest when they're lengthened, such as a deep squat, and include an exercise that challenges them the most when they're fully shortened, such as in a barbell hip thrust. By challenging the muscle at different lengths, you'll ensure that you're maximizing your potential for more growth. The gluteus medius is best trained through hip abduction exercises. This will include exercises such as the hip abduction machine, resistance band hip abduction, and even side lunges. Additionally, the gluteus medius's secondary function of stabilizing the pelvis can be trained quite effectively when performing single leg squats and lunge movements. Here's the thing, none of these exercises are necessarily superior to one another, so which ones you choose to do ultimately comes down to your personal preference. To be blunt, man, the gluteus minimus shouldn't even be on your list of muscles to train. Not only is it a tiny muscle that you can't see, but it's essentially trained in the exact same way as a gluteus medius. Therefore, as long as you perform hip abduction exercises, your gluteus minimus will be receiving more than enough stimulus. Now let's go over some of my training considerations. While doing the correct glute exercises is one thing, using proper technique to maximize glute involvement in these movements is truly what will take your results to the next level. Next time you train your glutes, be mindful of the following 4 tips. Your knee bend. When performing Romanian deadlifts, allow yourself to bend your knees more than usual while getting slightly deeper with your hips. This will increase the amount of hip extension in the movement, shifting some of the work away from the hamstrings and putting more onto the glutes instead. Your foot position and rotation are important to consider as well. In general, a wider stance and externally rotated feet will lead to greater activation of the glutes. Okay, so try this. Next time you squat, leg press, or hip thrust, try placing your feet further apart and slightly rotating your feet away from your body and see if you can feel the difference. Also, limit knee flexion. On exercises such as the leg press and machine-based squats, you can shift some emphasis away from your quads and onto your glutes by changing the position of your feet. On the leg press, this means placing your feet closer to the top of the machine, while on the Smith machine and hack squats, this can be done by placing your feet further in front of your body. Making both of these adjustments will limit the degree of knee flexion in the movement, which will force your quads to handle less of the load. All right, your torso angle makes a difference as well. Changing the angle of your torso on lunges and split squats and barbell squats can be one of the best ways to feel your glutes get more involved. By leaning your upper body forward in lunges and split squats, or placing the bar lower on your back to help you lean forward during barbell squats, you basically reduce the leverage of the quads while increasing the leverage of the glutes. As expected, this results in your glutes having to work harder by providing the majority of the force in the exercise. All right, by now you probably feel like a glute training expert. You know the anatomy of the glutes, which exercises work the different regions of the muscle the best, and how to adjust your technique on various exercises to maximize your glute involvement. Keep in mind that the glutes are a massive muscle group. Therefore, if you're serious about growing them, you should treat them as a priority and work them just as often as you would any other muscle group, if not more. If you want help structuring a workout program, then send a DM to my Instagram page at @theofficialgarywalker. I'll add a link in the description box below. Thanks for watching my video, and let me know if there's anything specific you would like me to make a video on. As always, get busy, get after it, and God bless.